Right, I might actually fucking kill you at this point. I regret. No, why is it just me?
No, look, bro, are you mad? Look at the point. So the point in the middle is between me and you.
This is all making it. I'm going to trim nothing. I'm not even joking. This will be podcast.
Just trim something. People, imagine you're listening in the car and all
I
you
will
hear
say
is me.
the issue you had is that we were on the same sofa, too close together. We are now on two separate sofas, but physically closer.
Oh no, it's fine. It's yeah. This is fine. Just lean back a bit.
I can't lean further
just
back.
Move more that way. Okay, perfect. Do I look at the camera or at you?
Can you pass me my drink, please? Because you've moved me away now, so I'm not even...
Which like this as well?
No, kick that out the frame, yeah. Oh. Thank you, Jake.
Really sorry, is that expensive?
No,
It's a
fortunately.
disposable one.
Yeah, no, we're okay.
go.
Cheers. It's the first podcast episode.
To New Tonic and to Whoop.
We're not sponsored by either of those companies.
Use code CJB
10.
and nothing will happen. It will say try a different code.
Have you noticed that on websites that if you just put like welcome 10, always 10% discount? Any website you buy something from, put welcome. Don't write it down now. No, your phone's over there. You're not allowed your phone. I have mine though because I have all the stuff I want to talk about with you. Let's start with those major life struggles you've had.
The fact that you have stuff you want to talk about with me.
I know. You ready? Glimpse. Notes.
Let me just see one. Let me see one. So let me see a teaser. Do you know what we should do? Do you know what we should do before the podcast starts?
We have started.
No. But before the podcast starts, we should say things that
we love about each other.
No. We should say things that don't happen in the podcast, and we'll put them at the beginning, like they're bits to look forward to.
Oh, maybe we do that right at the end though, and we just say something like
you
really
could be
intense.
like, you got her pregnant at 16, and I'd be like, and that's when my dad met Michael Jordan, and like we'll put all those at the beginning, and then they won't happen at all.
Okay, so I'm already gonna. We'll just use those two.
Yeah.
But now you said them both to me.
We'll put this at the very end, and we'll put those at the beginning, and
Scene.
podcast.
Okay, so none of that will be cropped. So, you haven't done this before and haven't been on this side of the camera, so you're going to have to do
never.
your... do you watch any of the podcasts?
Yeah. I watched the you ones.
No, other...
I've only watched the ones where Rachel was talking to you.
Oh, okay, so like Max Tuning, Sour thing? Nope, that's okay. Intro every time is being like, what's your Uber
Why am I on the
pitch?
Strength Studio?
Because the Strength Studio is where the
Change the
studio
name.
is. Yeah, but I'm sorry. Well, what do you want to call it?
I've ruined the name. It's like the Strength...
Maybe it's mental strength, to which you have very little. What would you call your podcast?
like Diary of an Entrepreneur.
That's why we're not changing the name.
Just something different. That's
No,
not
I want
strength.
your Uber pitch. Who you are in, like, do you know what Uber pitch is?
No.
Okay, you're in an Uber, it's going to take like an hour to get somewhere, and they're like, what do you do, or who are you?
Also, I've got to extend it to an hour's length.
No, it's the quick bit you do when someone asks you, like, who are you, what do you do?
Oh, could I make it interesting for camera?
Well, you could, but I would like the truth.
Okay, I'm a videographer, but I like to think of myself as a social media manager, even though I don't manage anyone's social media.
So why would you want to...
Because I film shit for people. Can I swear?
Oh, God, yeah, it's my podcast.
I film stuff for people,
and then you censored yourself after asking if you could swear. That's fun.
Well, I've already said it once, let's not do it twice. So I film stuff for people, and then they're like, oh, this didn't perform well, and I'm like, yeah, that's because you told me to do the wrong thing. So I feel like I'm like
That doesn't feel like
managing.
you're a social media manager. That sounds like you're a social media Karen, where it's they're like, can you film? They film and you go, but it's your fault because you wanted this.
No, but I'm like, I'm like, by the way, this will do bad if you do this, and I recommend you don't do it. And they're like, I really want to do it. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, oh, it got 900 views. And I'm like, yeah, that's why, because you weren't listening to me.
So you're a videographer and a social media manager that doesn't manage
Social media parent, I feel like.
Right, okay. How long have you been doing those things for?
Full time or just in general?
Well, I think they're probably the same answer.
It's kind of complicated. Like, I feel like I picked up a crap I borrowed your camera in November of 2022.
Good memory.
I borrowed your camera. Then I bought my own camera February 2023, went full time in December 2023, and stopped taking people on in, what was the last month? September of 2024.
Smashed it. So
You're
like
all
a
caught
year.
up.
You've
You're
basically
all
done
caught
a year
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
videographer and a social media parent.
Full time, yeah.
Which you don't do.
I do.
Is that
Which
all
I
you're
do.
doing now? Because obviously a big change. What you were doing before becoming just full time this? Because you
What I
weren't
was doing
going to be
before. I wanted to be an
videographer man.
actor.
Fuck off.
I told you, I did like short film. There's clips. Pull up if we had a Jamie.
We don't do that.
We need a Jamie. Rachel, pull up
Jamie?
the clip. Joe Rogan. He's like, Jamie, pull up.
Oh, right.
Pull up the video.
I was going to be like Jake, because Jake's my only editor. But like,
Oh,
Jake,
yeah.
for Jake, could you...
I will actually take this video and put this on. Jake, pull up the video of me and my short film, and then it will play now.
And what is this?
I just did a bunch of short films, and I don't
I thought
reveal...
you filmed them.
No, I was filmed. I was the actor.
This might be how you ended up convincing me you're a videographer.
I wanted
Because you were like, I do short films. And I'm like, I'll hire you then. And
Yeah.
you went, as an actor.
I wanted to be an actor for years, for like 10 years. I did theatre. I did, Chichester Festival Theatre.
Oh, you're such a theatre guy.
No, I'm not.
It all makes so much more sense.
I hate when people say that.
I mean, it's accurate, and probably the reason people say that. Or is
not.
that like a social media thing? When I get asked all the time.
I don't. Yeah, every time I say theatre, everyone's like, "Oh, now it makes sense." But like, I feel like I was different to them people. Like, I didn't like any of them.
That doesn't make you different. It just means that you're a Karen.
No, it doesn't.
So when you went from acting to videography, why?
Mm.
What was the big shift?
I was like, this is really hard and I have no confidence. My issue was the confidence. I feel like if you put me, like for example, the clip that I pulled up now, I think
You're the only person who's ever been in this podcast who points at the camera and
sorry.
talks to the camera.
Once you see
don't
that
talk to
clip,
me,
you'll be
listen.
like, oh, the acting's not bad because no one was in the room. They set the cameras up and they left the room. If you put, when I was doing stuff on stage, I could fold, I crumble. I had no confidence.
Wait, so at what point did you when did you start wanting to do theatre? To the point you realised that the whole precipice relied on the fact that you had to do theatre in front of people?
I'll be really quick because this is like so boring, this bit. So I was like 15 and I was like, I want to do GCSE acting because I want to be an actor. Boring. Then I was like, this is hard. I'll do computer programming. So I went to college and did physics, science, maths. I got 3 E's and I was like, well, this isn't for me. I'm more of an actor again. I'm an actor again. Wow. So then I went to uni and did acting and creative technologies. And I tell everyone that I did film, but it was actually acting and creative technologies. So it was a split degree.
You've lied to me.
I haven't. It was a split degree. It was half behind the camera, even though I didn't touch one camera. Literally not one. I didn't even touch a camera. And then the second half was acting. And I was like, wow, what a fucking waste of 3 years.
So at no point did you realise that you were going to have to act in front of people, test it, realise you couldn't do it until much later on?
I had to, I was just like, oh, when I'm older, I'll be better. And then I was like, this is the oldest you get before getting older. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Before getting
when you're a
old.
kid and you're like, oh, when I'm older, I'll be bigger and stronger. And when I'm older, I'll have a beard. Now I'm at that age where I'm like, well, I'm not bigger and stronger. I don't have a beard.
I am older.
So I can't act.
So like when you're early 20s or like just before 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be like 21 sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
I
realising...
fucking face riddled with acne.
Although the other day I did see that you had a bit of a tash. Have you shaved that? It's the oldest I've ever seen you look. It was on stories and I was like, little bit paedophile vibe.
It grows like, it grows like how you'd catch me in like a Walmart trying to be a 14-year-old. And so I have to shave it regularly because otherwise I just look
Your
crazy.
beard gives the same interpretation that if you like held your nose and took like a really hard breath, that it
Like
would
it would
pop
come
out as
out.
little sprouts.
My facial hair grows to the level where you look at someone and you're like, they stink. Like that facial hair's like, they stink. So I have to shave. And I didn't realise you saw me with a mustache.
It must have been stories.
Or was it the other day when I was cooking?
Yes.
Yeah, I looked at it on the evening. I was like, I look like I stink.
So he drops his hopes and dreams of being an actor because
Yeah.
he's grown big and old and realised
It's
he's a
not gonna
failure.
happen. Yeah.
Why videography?
You.
Oops.
Segue into new segment.
It's less smooth when you do that. Like they're planned, but if you go, oh, another one.
So like we'll shift and we'll put like a bookmark on the YouTube video so there'll be like a segment.
We're not doing
No,
this.
we will do that.
Also,
We'll
none of them
find
are on
a-
YouTube. I haven't bothered.
Oh, where are they?
Spotify, you can.
You can't even see me. Why are we filming on a camera?
It's on Spotify. You can watch them.
Oh,
you never seen
that's
that?
so weird. Hello.
Stop this bit.
Okay, so I meet you in the gym and I've apparently told this story wrong on multiple occasions and I know you have a good memory. So what's going to happen now is you're going to take over and you're going to tell this little segment where we met.
You lied to me.
I think so, yeah.
You asked me about my camera, and I was like, "Oh, he's interested in cameras. That's really cool." Because I was really picking it up and getting invested in it, which Rachel knows because I kept asking her to film things, and then getting really mad at her for not being a videographer.
Yes.
Kind of unreasonable on my front. I will accept that. And then she.
That's not.
You that's very my vibe. And then you were like, "Yeah, what's your camera? What's this?" And I was like, "Oh, do you do stuff with it?" And you were like, "Yes." And I was like, oh, well, I need more help. Why don't you come work with me? And you were like, yes.
And I did a free shoot for you. I did a bunch, but like the first time, a free shoot as in I had no experience. I didn't even know what shutter speed was. I think watching that video back, the shutter speed was too low. When I look at the
What
video
video
now,
was it?
it's you doing deadlifts and you're in a grey shirt. It's still on my computer. I can find it at some point. Pull up the clip. There's the clip. It's actually mid as hell. Like, it's so bad. The highlights are blown up. No one cares about that. The video is so ass.
Also opening the window. You can keep talking because mic's a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah, and I did an edit of that, and Callum was like, "What was Callum like?" I bet he was like, "This is shit," and he showed Rachel, and they had a good laugh about it.
No, you knew how to frame things enough. Like, even if that was just by luck. So I didn't really care about your editing because your editing was actually arse. But I knew that from your Instagram. Do you remember the Goodwood clips?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the temperature was like orange.
It was the warmest thing I've ever seen. It was like a man from Miami on a golf holiday. It was
That's because
horrific.
I shot with manual white. No one cares. No one gives a shit. That's because I shot in manual white balance, and it was up to like 8 million degrees.
Everyone knows I do this every podcast, which is just like checking it's filming. Okay, cool. We're
But I'm the videographer, so I'll probably have a check.
Oh yeah, you want to double check? Yeah. It's filming.
Okay, let's just. No, they don't care about my hair.
And they can't see your tash either.
No, my tash is shaved.
But we do the first shoot and you're like, yeah, I can do the thing. But at that point, what were you doing with your career? Like life?
I was at uni and I was doing nothing except like, I don't know if I can I say, well, it's not that bad. I was just like smoking weed.
You can
like,
say that.
every day.
The panic on your face. I wasn't smoking with you, therefore it's okay.
I was like smoking weed like every single day for like the whole year. And in my head, the whole thing.
I didn't know that at all.
The whole thing was I was just like, oh, when I get out, I'll just be famous. So it's not. I don't even have to worry.
What a great model.
I was like, I'll just be famous. I'll just be famous. And then I got to the end and I was like, oh, wait, it's actually like not quite. It's not as easy as I thought to be famous.
What? In your mind, so it's like I smoke weed every day. What? They'll make a documentary about me when I die?
Like I promise, I genuinely had until I met you. I genuinely promise. You can ask anyone in my family that I had absolutely no plans for my life. There was not one plan.
Wait, what age were you when we met?
It was November of 2022, so I was 20.
So what's like until I was 19, no plans for my life. My parents say the same sort of thing.
I listened to that on a podcast and I was like, wow.
Yeah, like you're just being like, nothing, I don't know, I'll figure it out later, I'm sure, or I'll be dead. I was kind of betting on the dead thing.
I was like, I'll live, but it'll be a luscious, lovely life.
Just like it will spring out late. Yeah, I had nothing until then. Okay, so fame didn't fall on your lap. Maybe
Weirdly
one
enough,
day.
Like, I'm 22 and I'm still not famous. I'm expecting a call one day. But
What do you think if you were famous? Let's say like 10 years from now, we get a glimpse, 10 seconds, and it's you, and you're like on the red carpet, and then it cuts, and we're like, why? Why is he famous?
now I'd be like, oh, that's just stupid and unrealistic. But like back then, I would have been like, I just would have like, the Hawk Tour girl. I just would have done some shit like that, and it just would have
blown up from one clip.
Like the Yodel kid and the Hawk Tour. I would just be one of them, one of the greats. But whatever.
So then videography, we start some bits.
Yeah.
But then why whole career? This has become your career
I think
in the scope of a year and a half.
From meeting you and looking at all the shit that you posted, I think my For You page started to become like all that like really nerdy, like it's time to train and wake up at 5 a.m. and read poetry and journal.
Okay, stop doing all of those
and
things.
Like do press ups and like hang out with men and stuff.
The worst.
Shower with dudes and stuff. Yeah, and that stuff, like just my whole life, just like what I think. Sorry, I'm just yapping. I think what
That's
made
what
me
podcasts
realize.
are, like you're allowed to
I'm
yap.
yapping. It's like not even like you couldn't even put it into captions. I think what made me realize was seeing you do this in this place.
How do you mean?
Well, we live in like a very not hopeful place. First of all, it's the UK, and second of all, it's a very unhappy part of the UK, I would argue, and a not busy part of the UK. So to meet you and be like, oh, he's like doing the most someone can do with life, and it's in this area.
In Bognor.
That gave me hope to be like, oh shit, you can like have a career, and like you don't need to just get. I'm not even going to say anything because I don't want to offend anyone.
You can say anything.
Or
you
just
want.
a job,
This
like
podcast, I
boring
offend a lot
office
of people.
job. It's like a 9 to 5. Like,
You don't have to be completely complacent and settle.
I never wanted that. I never got along with, from school to bar work, the people that were teaching me always hated me, and the bartending managers always hated me. Like, hated me.
We won't name where you were working, just in case.
We won't know.
But I remember, I forgot about that, because you did not like that job.
Bro, they
And it was
hated me.
awful.
Like they would randomly turn around and be, what is going on the screen?
I've just left it
They
running.
would like randomly turn around and be like, oh, I can't even say something. Bro, they were absolutely horrible.
What
Like,
sort of stuff?
Horrible. Like just really like it's always homophobic stuff. I don't know why, but like homophobic stuff, like just saying that I would do nothing in my life and I'm just a waste of life. By the way, this was one person, so for some reason, if this stumbles upon anyone's thing, it was always the managers of these places.
Can we get the name of the person?
Yes, Tommaso. Fuck off, Tommaso. He got fired for stealing alcohol, and I played a part in getting him fired, which was sick.
Very proud of that.
Yeah, and he lost like everything. Yeah. There was a time where he got done for drunk driving and he lost his license, and he came in and he was like, I think he said something like, I didn't go to get put in a cell because I was really sweet talking to the police officer. And he was like, Jake, if that ever happened to you, like, you'd go straight to prison. Like, because like, you're just like so unlikable. And this was me, imagine me being like nice to you, like not being rude, not being disrespectful, and you're just saying stuff like that to me.
What's always blowing my mind is like, I swear obviously in the world of, as you know now, like self-employment and meeting like other entrepreneurial people, there are some fucking assholes. But
So
in
many.
every workplace, there is at least one. As
And
if
it's
to be
always
like,
the person at the top. It's always
yeah,
the
they're like, we
person at
work
the
in
top.
warehouse delivery, we just do drop shipping, but there's one fucking Gary who's a fucking asshole. I'm like, why? What is wrong with your life that you're such a prick?
And
There's
so I
always one.
never got along with those like bar. That sounds weird. Like it sounds like I'm being snobby. I never got along with bartenders. They always just hated me. Always, everywhere I went, from Sainsbury's, fuck you Sainsbury's, from Butlins, fuck you Butlins, to, and I'm not going to say the last place because I don't know. I just.
Yeah, you shouldn't say Goodwood.
Shout
You
out
shouldn't,
Goodwood.
but I did.
But yeah, man, it's just so.
But then the fast forward, so you do the bits with me, but also you then like, I'm going to make a job of this.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next? Because you do bits and pieces for other people.
What did happen there? I just started spamming emails, Instagram DMs, cold calling, but I could never do the phone call bit, so I gave up on that pretty quick. Just, hello, would you like some work? No, okay, goodbye. I just was doing free work for everyone. Like you saw, like, I was posting a lot. Actually, I wasn't posting a lot, but like on my story, like you could see I was active. I was just going around offering everyone free work and like using that to get better and better and better. Saved up loads of money from the bar. Just put everything back into the job. Bought new equipment, this, that, and the other. I think having a really expensive camera got me to places
Got you a lot
quicker,
of doors, right?
because the expensive camera made me. I know people say kit isn't everything, but that camera actually did make me better. Like, just did.
Well, also because it literally, like, you know, you see like people have full rigs how to set up around their iPhone. I'm not hiring that person.
Never.
When it turns up with a full small rig handle and it's a fucking iPhone on the front of it.
It's massive. You're like, what is that? And you look closer and you can just see the rectangle.
And it's got their phone case on it. It's
just
got like
dog.
fucking plush.
And it's, every time they got a phone case on it, it's always that disgusting, big, bulky, one of them big, bulky
Oh,
ones.
like, yeah, big black thing. Yeah. Too much. So then you start, because now you work for a couple of people on retainers and so on.
Yeah, and
You're
I
like-
only work on retainers now. 96%. Like, apart from like...
What's the 4%?
Well, actually, no, it isn't. It's like, I'm doing one powerlifting competition. That's it. That's the only thing I've got booked.
Which one?
Southampton.
Oh, them again. Yeah.
That's the only thing I have booked that's not a contract, and that will be the last thing I do because I booked that.
But so like you're
last year.
on a uncontracted retainer with me. You never wrote a contract. That's on you.
Yeah, it's just, but like, my contract is friendship with you.
It's
like,
paid.
Like,
friendship.
there'll never be a time where you're like, I'm not going to pay you for this because I trust, like, you're the one person that I trust to not have a contract with because you won't screw me over. Like,
Well, normally I'm trying to get you to pay more on.
yeah,
charge more on
you'll be
stuff.
like, if you ever drop me, you'd be like, oh, the plan is I'm going to drop you like next month or something. Like, you'd give me, you wouldn't just turn around and be like, yeah, it's not really working out.
I think
So-
you'll outgrow me before I outgrow you.
so
I put money on it.
I bet. Well, you heard it here first.
Right. Well, I don't feel good about that. I was kind of hoping you'd say something nice back.
oh,
and we'd be
sorry.
like, no, it's forever.
No, I told you.
This is like saying to a couple, like, if you're with a new partner, being like, no, it's going great. I think we'll be together forever. Like, I'm never leaving. And they're like, yeah, it probably wouldn't be you that left.
it's not you.
No, it's called
me.
Break My Heart.
It's
So-
not you, it's me. I'm just, you know.
But now the people you're with, are we allowed to name who you're with? Because they're cool jobs.
yeah.
So obviously you do the stuff with me. You work with.
Golf Supply.
If people don't know what they are,
Actually, I won't say the rest. I'll say Golf Supply, but I won't say the rest because I chat a lot of shit on TikTok, and I just don't want them to. Everyone else is like I'm not very close with, in terms on like a personal level. So I've been getting a lot of shit on TikTok, so like, I just don't want them to come for those.
you
people.
get some chaos shit on TikTok.
Yeah, so I work for I do some like log cabin place. It's like an Airbnb. That's really nice. There's a gym that I'm about to hopefully start doing contracted work for. Callum, golf, nightclub. There's a nightclub as well. And I
That's
do
the other
photography there, and that absolutely destroys my sleep schedule, but
Oh,
that's what it is.
so tell me about the schedule you have with it. Because obviously, so your non-retainer retainer with me is we do a shit host of editing every week. We do one shoot day a week now, but before it was like a couple of
It's
shoot
kind of
days.
just like what we feel like doing at that time.
Yeah.
But like there's planning into it, but like we switch around a lot, we change priorities a lot, like moving to clothing, this, that.
Especially,
the other,
yeah,
like,
because at the
socials.
moment, like when you say that you do stuff for me, it's not like for DVD.
Yeah.
It'll be like, well, DVD stuff, my personal Instagram, the clothing brand, when the gym stuff gets going, and it's the vlogs. And if I go traveling, then it's the vlogs for that
Bro,
stuff.
you need a team. You need more than me.
Yes, I know.
You need more than me.
Yeah, but it's more fun that it's just you.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Because I don't have to talk to more people. But
Yeah, it's so fun.
the
fun for me.
the nightclub schedule.
Like, so right now it's like Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, but it's like get there at like 11:30 and then leave at like midnight 1. And I've just got to like walk around. It's so not something I do, but that's why I chose it. Well, I chose it for money, let's be honest. But like,
It's the little light on the top of the camera.
it's been good for me. Yeah, I get my awkward light on top of the camera, and I've got to walk into a club with loads of like drunk 18 to 20-year-olds, and like just be like, "Hey, would you like a photo?" And I just have to get told no like 1,000 times.
I remember that sort of like because back in first uni, I remember basically having a drinking problem, living in Brighton
really?
seafront. Yeah, like every night would be. I worked for Madame
Brighton,
Geisha's
good.
when it was there. I can't remember what it's called now. And I would live at like Coalition Digital and Madame Geisha's, and every single night of the week I'd be out. I was sober probably one day a week. Every other day I'd be just drinking.
Brighton is not a good place to be if you have a drinking problem. I feel like, because the nightlife is
There's so many
active.
options,
Yeah.
and also like because I was on site at Falmer, you could just travel down and it was easy to drink.
I didn't know you went to uni. of
Yeah,
Brighton.
yeah. Brighton Uni for the first degree was not a good time. My attendance, my first year I didn't go almost at all. Second year I attended. Third year I had 3%.
Was that just a case of my attendance was fucking shit as well? Not that bad, Christ.
It wasn't. I just didn't think it was necessary to go. It turns out it kind of is necessary to go.
Was that a case of, for me it fucking wasn't, was that a case of suddenly, because I feel like for everyone, when your mental starts getting bad at uni, I feel like it's because you spent your whole life living with your parents and not, your hand isn't being held, but like slightly kind of is, like there's a routine, and the second you live on your own, you're like, oh wait, I don't have to do any of this, there's no rules in life, and then it kind of fucks you.
Yeah, so I was very much not close with mum and dad for like while I was younger.
Okay.
And then when I went off to uni, I wasn't close to people there either. I was just like, I'm going to be here. What's the most enjoyable thing I can do? Well, it's not lectures. So I just stopped
It
going.
is not lectures.
Yeah, lectures are dog, man.
And you're like, oh, I can just miss one, and then it snowballs.
Well, also because first year, I think it was a couple of weeks in that I realised, they were like, and obviously first year is not graded. And I was like, well then why?
Yeah.
And my logic was like, what's the point in being here?
That's literally what I did. And then I had to spend £500 on new modules because they told me that the first year wasn't graded. And then they were like, oh, you didn't get enough grades to get in second year. And I was like,
I might just...
you said...
see, what you said was, and what I did was...
But that's crazy.
But that's not what you're doing
Yeah.
now.
They were like, it's not graded. And I was like, well, I'm just going to hand in nothing. So I handed in like 3 things. And then I was like, right, that's it. And then they were like, pay £500. And I was like, what?
I also, first year, they were like, but you do have to get a certain amount of attendance.
Yeah.
So my friends would just mark me in. And that was it. That's all the
Now
checks.
it's like...
Now it's like a full check-in
Yeah,
system,
like
and it has to be you.
Back in your day, it was like pen and paper.
Yeah, and square wheels and...
15 years later,
Rock
in my day,
houses.
it's like you use a card, so you have to tap on the card. Realistically, I could have just given my friends.
I was going to say, I just
card,
gave
but-
my card to friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, we still
well-
had those. I'm not that old, you piece of shit.
Well, I don't know. No,
Oh, no, I do. I do know.
No, but you went to uni in 2013, 14, probably. Yeah, so I don't know.
Good. It's
Well,
a
they hadn't
decade
got-
ago.
They hadn't got to cards yet.
It is a decade ago. Fucking hell.
God. Avengers 1 came out.
I don't need this in my life.
Bro, I was a kid and you had a drinking problem.
Oh, this was the point. Anyway, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
That was where first year went, which is just drinking and the freedom of it. How the fuck did we get here? You've killed my tangent so hard. Doing uni. That's when you started working with me. Then
That's
we were
when I started
talking
working
about
with
the
you.
nightclubs thing. We were on nightclubs and didn't get the culture.
Genius,
right.
because I wouldn't have got there and we would have had to cut.
We're like, stop. I mean, there is like 20 minutes left on this, then I have to go delete another video and then we can continue.
Oh, okay.
It means we can have a fresh break in the middle.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, you're doing it in 50 FPS?
I wasn't doing it at 50
You're
FPS.
filming it in 50 FPS, but the shutter speed is 50. Spencer will see that's a problem.
Do you know who last used my camera?
Who?
You.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. For
100%
what?
you did.
For what?
I haven't used this camera.
Well, I don't film with 50 FPS, so you have. Don't lie to me. I don't film with 50 FPS.
Why would I?
I don't film with 50. What? I don't. I make a point of not, and you make a point of not realising. So this is
I go auto, then leave it.
fuck off.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so Build's career doing the things for nightclub people. We won't name the nightclub because that does feature on your TikTok.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not a job made for you.
Yeah, it does.
I was actually going to ask you specific questions on the solo career stuff, but before that, what's the aspiration then? Like, where do you actually want it? What's the...
This is great because I'm getting to a point now where I'm like, do I even want to do full-time videography or just keep the people? I've decided to keep the people I've got now, but like just go into other things. Like, because I live with my parents, so I pay mum rent, which is fantastic. And I'm like making like full-time earnings. I'm like, I don't know what to do with it all. And I'm like, I want to keep going. I never want to stop. I feel like I'll get sad when I stop and I'm stuck. So I always want to be going up. So it will be something that's not videography, because videography to a degree, does not pay. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not about money. It's not about money, but like you can't grow videography past as one person.
You know, one of the things I actually put on this list of stuff to talk about was infinite versus finite games, and I was like, I don't know if this is worth getting into with Jake, but it's that topic of like...
I think we talked about this. Yeah, about the mountain.
Kind of.
You climb the mountain, and then you're like, oh, sick, I've climbed the mountain, but then there's a bigger mountain, and like you'll be depressed if you just stay on that one mountain.
So like infinite games, they refer to, I think, like business, marriage. You know when someone's like, the #1 podcast, and you're like, okay, but for now, like you're not going to be forever. Like it's an infinite game. You just keep doing the thing to do the thing. And it's like Hormones, he talks about the game of business. It's not to win a business. It's just to keep doing business. Same way you don't win marriage. You just do marriage.
You can't get to the end. And if you get to the end, like same when you complete a video game and then they're like, oh, you can free roam, and you're like, oh, this is boring as shit now. Like I've done.
You just want more things to grow into. So like I completely agree. It's not about the money, but it's about growth.
Yeah.
It's like you're doing business.
Always having stuff in your head like, oh, I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to say I've got this. Not as in possessions. I mean, I can't wait to say my business has done this.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's not going to be full-time videography, what's it going to be?
I really don't know. I don't know. There's things in my head that I've got, but I don't want to say because I hate when people are like, I'm going to do this and this and this, and then 5 years later they look back and they're like, I did none of that.
Yeah, but if you don't do any of that, I'll probably just harass you and give you
I know,
shit.
but you've harassed me for posting on Instagram, and I haven't got any fucking posts on Instagram.
Yeah, you did do TikTok.
I do.
So go on,
That's the first time he said that, by the way. The amount of times he's gone, you don't post on Instagram, and I've gone, yeah, but TikTok, and he's like, yeah, but that doesn't count.
I'm making thousands off of you not doing Instagram.
Thousands off of me.
Because you owe me £10 per reel you don't post.
Because I need money.
I have backdated when it was. I've written down on notes somewhere when the date was. You owe me so much
You used
money.
up precious free time to calculate them.
Yeah, to make like $2,000 off of you. That's what you owe me.
I'll put on Klarna. I've been Klarnaing so much stuff. I really recommend Klarna if you haven't got loads of money.
So far, you've made it sound like we're sponsored by Whoop, Newtonic, and Klarna.
Whoop, Newtonic, and Klarna are the sponsors for today's video. Just Klarna everything. Even if you can afford it, why pay for it once when you can pay for it 3 individual times?
That's not even a sales pitch. Also, why are you wearing Whoop? You're like the most unhealthy person.
It's for sleep, solely for sleep. Because I could be doing so much more with my life if I slept better.
But I do find the gamification of sleep with that detrimental, because you're just like, oh, I had less sleep, therefore day's bad. Whereas before I was like, I feel shit, I can get on with it, or I feel okay, that's enough.
No, I know, but it's
that
on the long-term effect. If you sleep 5 hours a night forever, your life expectancy is going to drop by like 30 years.
It's like
That's not factual.
No, it's 3 to 10 years, depending on the poor quality of sleep.
Okay, well, that is factual, apparently.
Yeah, and it's very real, and I'm betting on it.
Yeah, so I'm...
However, all right, so someone says to you, I'm going to take 10 years off your life. And you go, what if they're the last ones? If you were taking some miscellaneous years off my life, I'd be fuming. But the last ones, well, if I was going to live to 100, you're taking the last 10. Have them.
That's a Shrek 4 reference.
Is it?
Yeah, remember when the Goblin Man's like, I'll take 1 day of your life, and then he
it does say which one. That wasn't intentionally a reference. Wow, what a bizarre thing.
Shout out Shrek.
And this is why I'm like, when everyone's like, oh, I'll take years off your life, I'm like, yeah, but the last ones, and they're the worst ones.
They are the worst ones, but I don't know. I'll never retire. So the more years I have, I'll be doing more things.
Imagine 90-year-old you in a wheelchair buzzing around like venues trying to film shit.
I won't be filming
It'd be like a gimbal though. You'd be a human gimbal.
Oh my God.
The smooth shots.
No, by the time I'm 90, there's some shit that can make me do all that. Like there'll be like an Iron Man suit where I'm barely doing anything.
Also, do you think there must come a point that like your phone camera will be better than any cinema camera?
Well, it's getting there.
And so what would be the point? And so everyone would have cinema cameras, so videographers won't exist.
I feel like they're filming, have you seen they're filming 28 days later?
Yeah.
They're filming 28 months later.
On an iPhone?
On an iPhone, yeah.
But why? Like, unless it's...
Apple's definitely paying them. 100%.
Oh, it must be.
Yeah,
I'm guessing maybe that film's only coming out on Apple TV.
Probably, yeah. That's
You
such
still
a
have to
waste.
answer what you want to do with your life.
What do I want to do with my life? I just want to, I don't know, keep on keeping on.
Would you want to go down the route of like having your own company sort of thing?
100%, yeah,
I know of a
100%.
really. They will never watch this. Like Pro Format, for instance, like a company
Well,
with like
I
two
would-
people that keep sacking off the people that they join
I
them.
would do it differently. I would do it differently.
But would you want to go that route? They'll
I
never
would,
watch
no,
this.
I wouldn't do. I would only ever go back into. So you know, I'm at like middle tier videography. So like lower tier being like filming on your phone.
You're very mid
I'm
videography.
at mid. I am. I'm at mid tier videography. That high tier stuff, I don't really care for it unless I get to a point where I got loads of money from doing something else, and then I'll be like, oh my god, I'm gonna build my own production team, and I don't have to do any of it. Like, as in, you know, I'll just produce it. I'll plan stuff.
Does that sound
but,
fun
like,
to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all that like, but I'll never be like, I'll never do a pro format. Like, I'll just.
Just partnering up with other mid videographers doing mid things.
Yeah. Don't, this how.
Look, okay,
You're
Lawrence
digging
or
us a
Greg,
grave.
if you've like, Callum mentioned Pro Format is shitting. I'm not shitting on it. I'm just saying, if videographers partner up to do videography, like
With videography, I wouldn't do that.
no, it'd
I'd
be
rather
like I
work
want
for
to
myself.
make something where you're kind of leading something else rather than just partnering with more of the same. Not
Yeah.
shitting on them, saying it's a weird model.
Yes, I agree. Like, I'd rather have like.
You know, I said to you the company I wanted to start ages ago, which was like going to companies and saying, we
Yes.
have a videographer, a social media person. You'd get different people doing different stuff, not the same
That is
people
what
doing the same
that
stuff.
is what I'm trying to say with my words, but then it's not coming out properly. Is
That's
I
why
would
we
do
work
something
together.
like that, yeah. But I'd love to have my own company, and like I think this whole job, the whole reason I started this is because I love it, but also I'm just gonna
9 minutes.
stack money and then use that money to build something. I just don't know what it is yet. Just like I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
I mean, you are a year in, so I
Yeah.
think you've got time.
It'll click just one day.
Or you'll end up with a full-time position as a golf videographer, which would be a crazy
Which would
turn
be
of events.
crazy. I'll be so. I don't. Oh man. I don't think I could ever be. I'm not.
I don't think you could be full-time one thing forever unless
No, I
the
agree.
thing was growing.
I completely agree. We've talked about it. Like the reason I get so passionate about the golf stuff is because I love seeing the growth and I love building something from small with two people that are just as passionate, just as hardworking. Which is why I put that story like
Yeah,
blazing
yeah.
all of you guys, like how hard you work, and it's an inspiration to be around people that work that hard. I don't think I could do one thing, and it's the only thing I do. Like
I think this is where I eventually got stuck with coaching, where it's just like, I love that thing, but then once you do it and you feel like you're good at it, you're like, I'm not growing anymore,
Yeah.
and that's killing me. Because like,
Yeah.
say those boys, what's the following like on the YouTube now?
we're doing pretty well. I think we just hit 25k and we were at 10k at the beginning of the year, and like it's like snowballing. Like we're doing a video on Tuesday that I think will be our biggest video yet, with like some big names in the golf space, and that is exciting.
But let's
Yeah.
say the page hits 1 million and it gets big names and they just keep getting big names, that's what they do now. Then what? And they'll keep doing it because that's what they're doing and that's what keeps growing. But
I
like,
will say
where
they have actually talked about what we would do. I don't know if I can say it, but they actually
There is
have
growth.
plans to
love that.
diversify, and so they're not just doing that thing. So potentially I could go down that route, but I really love, especially what we're doing. Well, to be fair, what I'm doing with everyone, with all of my clients per se, I love growing. That's the best bit. It's like being like, they're like, oh, we hit this many followers, or oh, we got this many sales from the video, and I'm like, that's really cool. That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing.
And then
It's
where it
like
can go
how
from there.
valuable my job is to some people, and before like the past 20 years I've been like the most useless human being ever.
Well, I think that's like I want to go into that as the good bits, but let me delete the other video and then we'll continue. You get your
We'll
ad
be right
break.
back after this Whoop advert.
Please don't put a Whoop advert in. Okay, so the bit I was going to just move straight into is the good bits and bad bits of the job that you've been doing. Because you're saying the good bit in your line of work is like seeing the growth, doing creative things. What's the bad bits?
I get really anxious and really, really stressed, and there'll be days where I'm like in a really bad mood because I'm like, suddenly everyone could just, like one client's thing is performing bad, and I'm like, everyone could turn around tomorrow and be like, they don't want to work with me anymore, and I don't have a job, and I've got to go back to a bar where everyone hates me. That is because it's only like 5 or 6 people that pay my whole living. So like, what if one leaves or 2 leave or even 3 leave, I'm fine and I don't have to go back to my job. But genuinely everyone, if they wanted to, could turn around and go, I don't want you anymore, and then that's it.
Well, this is what we spoke about before, right? But I think like almost forget on balance. If you worked for the bar, one person decides they don't want you, you're gone.
But I feel like some of those people at the bars have like worked there for like 15 years. I'm like, I just don't think that could happen.
It's a degree of security that they
And
have.
I sucked at my job, and the manager hated me like to death, and I kept the job.
So now it's that's the biggest fear is but all of them would have to turn around and be like, you're gone.
I know, but like it's like imposter syndrome. It's literally just imposter syndrome. Like, but then sometimes I'll meet like another videographer and they'll be like, I thought they were really good, and they'd be like, oh, I've been struggling to go full time, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I am doing quite well. And then I'll see another videographer and he's talking about shit that I don't even know. Like,
but I think a ton of the comments I see on your thing is like accounts that are called something videography,
visuals,
being like, how do I go full time?
Yeah,
and like, there's tons of videographers.
That does make me feel like, oh, maybe I can go into like helping people with this. But then I'm like, all the people that help people with videography just know their shit, and I'm like, oh, you could just fucking try. Like, it's never like I'm not setting up meetings about like how to like engagement hooks and all these keywords. I'm just like, oh, you do this is what I did, it's good. Like, I don't think that's.
But I think the stuff that people actually like. Do you think you're successful because you came across some like golden specific advice, or just because you did the things?
I just kept repeating things, and then eventually something worked. Voice notes, and then.
The best.
And now, like, my life's great.
But I think like most people at the beginning, anyone who's like, how do I go full time? Normally it's the really simple stuff, just do more of it. Like, you know, again, I'll always mention him tons, the Hormozy thing of like, you find something that works and then you just 10x the amount of it you do.
I think that is the case, yeah. And then I'll comfort, when I'm having one of those anxious days, I'll comfort myself with the fact that I'm like, I don't think anyone who is a videographer does as much as I do. And I think therefore, like, it's like little things like I can also do Photoshop, and I can also do this, that, and the other, and I'm also good with social media, so I know that your video will do well. So there's like other things. I've got to make myself the most valuable videographer for that price, and that way no one will leave me and I can live comfortably.
Well, you think like, so obviously if you take someone like on the receiving end, so me or the other guys, so go, okay, well, when I want to create videos, I message you, the contact is easy, communication's good, we make short form videos, quick editing, all of the formats, you understand my social media, you make the thumbnails. If I want to do a vlog, podcast, social media bits, everything I've wanted to do, you've handled. If I lose you, I'm more fucked than you are.
That makes me. I'm gonna play this battle now on days I'm worried. It's the same thing. Like, yeah.
Because if you went, I can just video in person, I'd be like, that's one thing, I can replace you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I can video in person and do the turnaround and do the editing, and you're local to me as well. I made this point. So there's a guy I'm business coaching in. I didn't tell you we were talking about you actually. Who I'm business coaching in Australia, and he's got a local videographer, and he was like, the guy's new. Do you recommend I go find someone else? And I was like, you invest in him and you give him as much money as you need to. And he's like, one, I was like, because the guy I got lives close to me, and if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do all this stuff.
And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be anywhere. I literally wouldn't be.
I can see why they were homophobic about you. So
cut that. We'll lose our Whoop sponsorship. That's so comforting to think about.
There you go, as a reminder.
You're going to see me in a lot better mood for the last.
Also, do you want to see something really cool just because it's just come through? Sponsors. You can't say what you're seeing. Sponsors to the DVD Open.
Yeah.
This is all just turned up as stuff to give to people.
Aston Martin.
You're such a cock.
You
know the company though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of that's freebies for everyone. Yeah, I know.
Can I just say it one more time?
So
fucking crazy.
Those bits and pieces and that for everyone, and then these are giveaways to best lifters.
Do they go?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's really
sick,
cool.
Anyway,
Aston Martin sponsorship.
So one of the worst bits, obviously, is security. What else? Because like, this is the entrepreneurial shit that people, everyone who does full-time work glamorizes, grass is greener, work for yourself, blah, blah, blah. How about when you were sick? How was working and can't do your fucking job?
Really hard, because like, I'll look at my calendar and there'll be like a week where I'm like, oh, I got a lot of shoots in this week, so I'll do a lot of editing this week. That week was a shoot week. Bro, I was in Dubai.
Yeah, literally.
I was in Dubai. They paid thousands to go on that trip, and I was ill. Bro, I called. I don't care. I'm literally going to say it. Bro,
I did not think you would.
I was ill, and one of the managers was like, yeah, we'll give you your own hotel room. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is a really nice hotel. Like, really, it was like 5-star. And I was like in this hotel room, and I was like, hell yeah. Slept for about 9 hours to the point where my mum had to message my client and get them to hunt my room down and check I was alive. So embarrassing.
I didn't know that.
Such an ick. I would have ripped that contract up. And then I was like, oh, slept, I'm fine. And then I got room service, and I was like, I'll get something bland, like a club chicken sandwich. I even said to him, I sent him the drinks menu, and I was like, what drink should I get? And he was like, definitely the apple juice. And I got the apple juice and it was like this crazy fluorescent colour. So I was like, oh, fuck that. Anyway, I just eat the food. I'm like 5 bites in, bro. I literally just crap myself. I don't even care. I'll just say it. I just crap myself. And that was so embarrassing. And for some reason, I just didn't want to say shit again. I feel like I've said that 20 times. It's like the hell yeah. And I was like, my first instinct was like, I'll just message Callum. Like, what the
You literally just messaged
well, I
me.
can't message room service. And I was genuinely so worried for the rest of the week that we'd get a call from the hotel and they'd be like, yeah, we're fining you because you like absolutely destroyed the bed. Because I did. I literally did. I could see it. It was so embarrassing. It was the worst thing that ever happened in my life. Which just goes to show how lovely of a life I've had. I crap myself at a 5 stars.
Can we make that the little clip at the beginning?
That could be a real one. Like it's like 2 lies and a truth.
Yeah, except for we're laughing, it gives it away.
Yeah, that's true. And so yeah, that was just genuinely.
But like we're talking about the worst bits. Like that's the worst bit of just like anyone's day. But you didn't lose work over it.
No, but I couldn't do work over it, and that was stressing me out because my whole thing is slowly less and less becoming how quickly I can.
Yeah, I remember the days when your turnaround time was
My
your
return
thing.
rate was like an hour, and now it's like a week.
Now the hour's the reply to be like, it will be there next week.
It's creeping up. I'm working on it. I've actually ordered a whiteboard, and it's got like a calendar, like the front of a Well, I've asked my dad to order a whiteboard because I saw he was doom scrolling while I was leaving, so I was like, while you're doing nothing, can you just find me a whiteboard and I'll pay you for it? And it's a whiteboard that has all the calendars on, and I'm literally going to write everything out, and it's just going to look visually going to be so much more easy to return. I'm just working really hard on being better at my job, really.
Great.
Because I'm sucking right now.
Well, that's the bit I was saying that people are glamorizing is working for yourself, like getting ill sucks because obviously there's no income and obviously there's no holiday.
Yeah.
So what about the hours? Because like me, where I regularly talk about the fact I work extensive hours. I think you work more than I do.
No.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, it depends. There are definitely days where I'm like, oh, 100%, but there are days where I'm like, oh, I just
What about the
made
days
this
when we
one
were
post.
talking at 3 a.m,
Oh,
where
no.
I just happen to not be sleeping and we'd just be messaging through the night about fucking editing?
Yeah, my schedule sucked. It's slowly getting better. This club
It seems
thing
a
has
lot
killed
better
it.
now.
It's a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
better.
club's
Yeah, this
shit.
club thing has killed it a little bit, but yeah, it's mad. But like as an example, because I'm shooting on Fridays and Saturday nights at this club, if I'm working, if someone's like, oh, you want to do something on the Saturday, I'm like, oh yeah, it will cost me like a lot of money. Not a lot of money, but like if you think about it, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and so that is becoming like literally next week I want to go to Bristol on Saturday, and I'm like, that's like it's not just the cost of fuel to get up there; it's the cost of losing a whole shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, my life's so hard.
But at what point are you gonna just delegate it? Like have a second shooter and send them?
Because I'm always mid tier. That's the thing about being mid tier is you don't have the money to send another person.
People like Spence though.
Like, but I'm not. I like him. I'm not giving him chump change so I can go to Bristol while he does a really not nice job. Actually, it's actually quite fun. It's sweaty, but it's fun.
Totally 16.
Someone poured a drink down me. Shut up. Someone poured a drink down me yesterday, and that sucks.
One of the bits of chaos I wanted to ask you about, because I thought would be interesting, is because we relate on this subject. I just put relationships / work-life balance, and because we've spoken about balance. Yeah,
No.
it's like it's just a trigger word at this point.
Yeah, that's good.
But how you find? Because obviously you're in a loving full-time relationship.
I'm in a loving full-time relationship with someone who now works like opposing hours that are completely incompatible with my own.
So you just don't see each other anymore.
It's actually gotten so much better. It used to be a case of you hang out with me while I work and you can just watch TV, and we did that all week, and that would suck. And now what we've done is a much better thing where we both work all week, and at the end of the week we get an evening together, and it's like proper quality time. Like we'll actually do something. Like you saw that bag that we drew, and I did like Peter.
You did
Griffin.
Peter Griffin on
Hell
it,
yeah.
Oh my god, the hell yeah, man!
Hell yeah. And so we're actually doing stuff. So it's just about like not half-arsing it and doing like, oh, we'll spend loads of time, but I'll be working.
Yeah.
I'll just leave me alone all week. That sounds rude. Piss off all week, and then at the end of the week, you know what, I've said exactly that. Piss off all week at the end of the week, and then we'll have a lovely evening, and we'll do whatever you want or whatever I want.
I think me and Rach do a big variation of this because it depends on the week. But like we spend, excuse me, boring me. We spend most of our time together, but it's very broken up time.
Yeah.
We'll be like, we're at Thrive working, or we're here and I'm working.
Yeah, I
and she's
can't do
working
that
here.
because some no, I can't even start talking about relationship things, but like that doesn't satisfy both parties. So we got to stick with
But the
that.
difference being, we're spending that time together when we're both working, but she can't be doing that work when you're doing that work
her
because
work
her work
is
elsewhere.
yeah.
Which makes life a bit
That's
harder.
exactly the case. Yeah, her work you have to be there for, and my work you
can be
just do
anywhere for,
whenever.
which
Which
is kind of
sucks,
weird.
by the way. People are always talking about like, oh, I wish I could work remotely, and I work in Bali. I work in
Bali.
Bali,
It's Bali.
like, on a beach.
Oh, I've done it again.
They were like, I work in Bali, or I work in Dubai, or I work in Mallorca, and I'll be on a beach. That shit sucks. I just want to be at my desk. The amount of like hotels I've worked in, the Wi-Fi's crap. It's hot and sticky.
And it's
like,
uncomfortable, and I need the other monitors. It actually makes working easier.
yeah, I need my space. I need my cool lights and my candle. Like, I just need.
Need my candle.
I like my space. I hate working remotely, like anywhere. Like somewhere here's like nice, like
I think the difference though is that you can work remotely.
yeah, and
which
it's
is-
cool. But everyone acts like that's the dream. I always see on TikTok like this is what I want to be doing, and it's just a laptop on a balcony, which I post a lot.
And they spend like 30 seconds working just for the video, and then they're like, I'm going to go inside and sit at a table because this fucking
Because it's
sucks.
shit. Did you see my latest TikTok where it's literally a laptop on a balcony? I put it outside, took a picture, and went back in. It was like 40 degrees and humid. I was like, I'm not.
I really like to post more stuff being like, for the coaches who are working remotely and making it look glamorous, you're probably bad at your job.
Yeah.
Because like if you can comfortably work remotely, I don't think you work very hard.
100%, because you need to like I can't have my work be broken up. If I'm editing, for example, them vlogs that I'm editing for
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
I have to do it all in one sitting. If I walk away, the flow's ruined. The video will suck.
Also, did you see the group chat being discussed about what cuck meant when you put it over Alice?
Did I?
Yeah, so she
Oh,
was like,
she
I'm
said,
just
"Oh, just
watching, and you put
watch."
cuck, and the whole group chat were like, funniest thing ever, and then Alice was like, don't know what it means, and they were like, don't Google it. Like,
Aw.
obviously Alice didn't know
Love
what it
Alice.
meant.
That's so wholesome. No, there's like 500 messages there. I did not see that.
Yeah, it's 1,000 at the moment, it's crazy.
So many.
The segue
Segway.
is actually between around the things of like.
Sorry, I was just checking the bars. Sorry.
Are you happy with it? You happy with the audio? Yeah. But now there's a weird bit where you just start.
Imagine being in the car and driving. You just
That's gonna be a weird bit of the podcast. It goes towards the bad bits of the job, but like pet hates in your field, like things that you find very frustrating in your line of work.
Clients that come to you and they're like, it's just like a teenager and he's like, I want to start a YouTube channel, it's going to be lit, and they're like willing to pay a lot. And then, just for example, here's a better example, a lot of shoots I did in the early days, they were like, oh, we'll pay you £400 for 1 day shoot and it's 2 hours. And I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. And they're like, yeah, and we're going to do a series and then we're starting this. And then I'll go and do the shoot and I'll be like, oh, we could do this. And they're like, no, I want it to look like this. And I'm like, well, I don't think it'll get many views. And then we do the video and they paid all this money. I'm like, oh, shit, this is my life now. We're going to make loads of these. And then I do one video and it's got less views than any of their phone shot stuff. And they don't even reply back again. The amount of those I had is like ridiculous.
That's because people don't actually understand what they need.
No, and I'm like telling them, I'm like, oh, we could do this. And they're like, no. I'm like, we could use this text because your text doesn't do very well. And they're like, we could do this. And then stinky. And like some of these videos had actual celebrities in and still did like terrible on their page, which is just...
I remember when you convinced me there was a video I really wanted to make, which was like reactions to coaching stuff. It's the first time that I like fully bought into Jake does what he wants. And it was like me reacting to client stuff. And I was like, oh, we've only got bits. We've got like some film, the stuff from Rachel's camera, and then one from an old story. And you like, just send it to me. And you put yellow text on it. And I was like, it looks weird. And you're like, it'll do well. And then you did it. And it was the first thing I ever posted, got 100K views. And me being like,
Oh,
Jake does what he wants from now on.
And they never did it again.
They didn't for ages.
Have we got another 100K since?
Yeah, yes, one.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the design exactly, it's my favourite, not my favourite one, but my favourite layout, which is the Vienna videos. It's a deadlift one with like a clickbait, yellow bit of text. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shut up.
Are you going to Vienna again?
Yes, we're going in a couple of weeks,
December?
months. Yeah,
Yeah,
gonna go
yeah.
for another week.
You going to Das?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I heard that too. I contemplated flying you out, but I said to Rachel we invited other people and she said no. So
I love that. I contemplated finding you out, and I didn't.
I thought about it, didn't want to.
That's fine.
Although
I don't
we were
wanna
going
go
to go
that
somewhere else. I'm trying to convince you to do a proper trip.
I would 100% be down to do a proper trip. I think the past few weeks have shown me that I actually do have enough time to do a proper trip. I just need to wake up earlier.
Yes.
That's literally the key.
And you have midweek stuff, which makes it harder.
Yeah.
What-
But there's stuff I can move. I can 100% move stuff. If everyone I work for can be like, oh, I can't shoot because I'm on holiday or doing this, then I can fucking do it at least once.
What other pet hate bits?
It's the biggest pet hate is arguing about I want it to look like this, and I'm like, it won't perform. Literally, I love this guy, but one of the people I work with was like, oh, I think I should do this video without text. And I was like, fuck no, please don't. I'm like, this is the worst decision you'll ever make. And he was like, no, I really feel passionate about this. And all his videos have like 10, 20, 30, 40, 60K. I think one of them has 90K. This video didn't break 1,000.
Oh,
And I was
what's
like,
the video? A YouTube video?
an Instagram reel.
Right.
I'll show it to you after.
Okay, yeah,
very,
we won't discuss it now, but clearly, clearly a fuck up.
Cannot publicly say, even though they'll know. But they're not going to watch it, so it doesn't matter.
No one watches this, it's fine.
Spencer watches it. Shout out Spencer.
Quite a few people actually do watch it, and every now and again we give a
What
shout
the
out. It
fuck
really
are we
surprises me.
watching?
I don't know, it's just been on, man.
A man's getting waterboarded with sand on.
For anyone who's just listening, I've left, what are they called?
Dude Perfect.
Dude Perfect YouTube channel is just playing on the TV while we're on this. But
there's
it's
a
genuinely
man-
partially for my ADHD.
There's a man laying in bed and there's another dude with a digger just dropping sand on him while he suffocates.
This is where we're going to end up, Jake. You and me, we're going to be making these videos.
I would love to do this stuff.
I mean, I would, but also the budget must be extreme because
They have
someone's
a
clearing that
studio.
shit
Look
out.
at that fucking
They got rid of the
studio.
studio now.
But what are they in?
What?
What are they in right now then?
No, now.
We can't
Since
segue
then,
and talk
they got
about
rid of
Dude
it.
Perfect.
Stop it.
Segway.
So obviously you got pet hates within your field, like
So many.
filming horizontally and cropping in. We won't. It's okay. It's all over your If anyone wants to know more, go to Jake's TikTok. He gets
Yeah.
a lot of hate for
Get a
voicing
lot of
his
hate.
opinion.
And you might think I don't get many videos, but that's because I don't pin my highest view videos because I'm just cool like that. I just don't pin them.
You should.
Like they're just whatever, you know.
But I think you should.
Yeah, but they're just like whatever. Like, I don't think it's a big deal. Like,
Was you doing this? But
I don't think
like
it's a
some
big-
people
but
are just
like,
listening.
That's like ironic cool. I'm doing like an ironic cool gesture emote, by the way.
Anyone who's watching and just saw Jake shit himself is because Rach just walked above us and I fully
I
saw
thought she
you
was going to
panic.
fall through and land on the rope.
But what about the same thing? Right, so since working with me, you work in powerlifting videography.
Yeah, this is something interesting. I don't know anything about any of the things that I work for. I don't know anything about them. Like
We
I'm
still
on the-
regularly have to be like, what plates are on the bar, Callum?
Yeah.
Like, how can we? It's been years.
I've been on a golf podcast knowing nothing about golf. I've now been on a strength podcast being the weakest person that's ever been on it.
Yeah, no, you are. But it is my
One
podcast.
other person.
No, there really isn't. But it is my podcast, and it's more for the fun things I want to talk about. So fuck
yeah.
the strength studio. Stop it.
I mean, frick yeah.
But within the world of powerlifting, because we've actually discussed this loads of stuff, there are certain things that from an outsider point of view, you're like, you just don't get, or that you think is shit about it. So for instance, you being like, it's the most boring thing to watch.
Well, powerlifting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I do, like. I just don't. I really don't like this because I don't like the way everything is branded. I don't like the way any of the powerlifting clothes look. I don't like the way any of the powerlifting shoes look. I think all the pre-workouts look like a fucking 12-year-old made them. Like just everything about powerlifting on a visual standpoint. I just
Give me some examples, because I think that would actually help people to know.
like.
Because I agree with you.
I can't. There was one that literally just came into my head and I was like, maybe I shouldn't.
Is that because I've very recently? Yeah, maybe not that one.
Like just the way everything's designed. Like, fuck, give me some examples. Throw some brands at me.
SBD, the belts,
Oh
the wrist
my
straps.
god, bro! SPV actually looks ass. Like, oh wait, can I even say all this stuff? Okay, Callum doesn't share any of these opinions.
No, I do.
have all
I
of
absolutely
them.
do. I
The way-
publicly outed, like, we were talking, bear in mind, we were talking about, like, the in-drama stuff about SBD shitting on Joy Namani and saying they wish they could stop her existing. So you can say what you
Okay,
want.
yeah, like all of the company, just the way the brand it, like it's so like 2010s like rock punk. Like all the pre-workouts got like slime on it, and there's like a fucking dude
Oh, that's
holding
Ghost,
a guitar.
isn't it? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I kind of like that, bro.
Yeah,
but
the
like,
Ghost design stuff
and it's
is-
like it's called like Gorilla Fucks Dog, and it's and it's like a picture of like some veiny gorilla dick and like thunderbolts coming, like just everything about it, like from a graphic design, visual, cosmetic standpoint, it just needs a whole rework, and that's because it's not mainstream. If it was like a super mainstream sport, it would be like
You literally have, so at the moment you've got two ends of powerlifting. One where it's like old school archaic, so all they do is add in thunderbolts and like gorillas or lions, and they're like, there's one, oh my god, it's made by, oh, he's no longer a friend, fuck him. Lion's Pneumonia is the name of his one. I'm like, what does that mean? But it's a pre-workout with half a lion face on it. I'm like, all right, like what is it though? And then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is companies like SBD, that like this year we did black. Next year, it's black and white.
The
I'm
other
like,
end
oh,
of this
God.
thing is like we don't even have a graphic designer. Our CEO does it on MS Paint.
You won't know this, but they had, so SBD logo used to be like a perfect circle around it, and then they were like, new launch, new SBD logo, whole thing's been redone, and they put a pointed edge on each corner. and then they re-released everything. I'm not exaggerating.
Whoa.
It was genuinely, I remember being so outraged by it, being like, this is the best we have in powerlifting.
I feel like even the people that make a lot of money from powerlifting don't put that money back in. That's what I feel like. I feel like it's a
100%.
big money machine for the top 1% and no one puts any effort in.
There's a massive amount of
except
people taking money out.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
no money goes in. There's one brand where I think the stuff looks quite nice, but I and everyone else hates the owner. I'm just not going to say that brand. Well, I can't say. Can we bleep it?
type
Or
it.
do you not want to put the effort in?
No, I can't be bothered to put the F in. Just type it at the bottom. Also, don't read the rest. You're reading the rest. How much?
Slightly. I don't love it, but I quite like the way that some, like, they definitely put a little bit more effort into
Yeah,
the
no, we
things,
won't
so-
name that
No, we
shit.
won't. Hell no.
Yeah, owner's a piece of shit. Oh, I've
Yeah.
also just seen recently. Oh my god, I can't say any of the stuff I want to. Cool.
It's just
So
going to be one long segue. That's when you would put that.
I do think like that's also why I quite enjoy working in powerlifting though. It's because the bar's really fucking low.
Exactly. And
It's like
you
running the
can put
DB
in-
Open, where it's like, okay, we put money back in, and everyone's like, oh, it's the best event I've ever been to. I'm like, wow, wasn't that expensive?
Yeah.
Like everyone has the money. Did you see a wee shit on the BP for dropping? They were like, for volunteers, we're giving back pins. Like custom pins. Honours for
out of
refs.
every single sport in sporting history, there isn't a sport where more of the staff are volunteers than powerlifting. It has
Literally,
to
it's
be.
all and like and don't be wrong, I've always been behind like if you're a volunteer, respect to you, that's sick. But also maybe we should employ someone, like,
Yeah, ask
because
for
there
money.
is the money in the Fed.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, there's loads of people being volunteer. This is someone on the outside that's seeing this, by the
Yeah.
way. There are so many volunteers, and then there's one person at the top making just piss tons of money,
Literally,
like so much money, and then there's all the people at the bottom making next to nothing or nothing.
yeah, mostly nothing. And
Mostly
every now and
nothing.
again, they're like, we might cover your travel. Like
It's like same
saints.
with videography. Like it's the same with videography. Like the first videographer I met was Lawrence. Lawrence set the bar so high. I was like, this shit's so cool. Like he's so good. And then I started looking around and I was like, damn, like
Everyone's
the
broke.
actually Lawrence was like a really good example, and now everyone else I've seen is like low-key kind of mid.
Mate, it's the same in coaching where I was like, okay, crushing, doing very well. And then you look at coaches and be like, if they've got 10 clients, they're doing well. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a business.
I was like, oh, they're like, oh.
Yeah,
That's
no.
it. Oh.
Yeah, I think like the whole of powerlifting, when people from the outside look at it and they're like, so bench is pretty boring to watch, and your commentary's dog shit. And why are they laying with their dick towards the referee?
It's
Like,
just-
is that not weird to anyone
It's
else?
just the whole thing just needs like a big revamp. Can it not be like, I don't know if this is gonna be such a bad reference because no one's gonna understand it. PGA Golf was massive and it was the thing. Like that's the company. Saudi Arabia just invested millions of money into a new golf thing, and it was like, okay, you can play music on the course, you can wear shorts in hot weather. They just modernized it and they put loads of money. Can someone just do that for powerlifting? I'm sure it won't be.
I
as
think
much
the
money.
closest person, because there's only a couple of people who do their own comps, and the one that did it and then turned it to a Fed is called ABS or ABS, and they've got the ABS series, ABS Pro, and they make it into like there's I can't remember what you call it. They sit down with all of the athletes the day before. They have a panel where they're like, "Do you think you're going to beat him?" And it's like shit talking.
Yeah.
They do that. It's fucking amazing. It's the only federation that do it, and they're not really a federation.
Really?
It's all unsanctioned. But yeah. And so every other real federation is so dry.
And it's like you go into the room and like it's a massive room and you're like, whoa, these like book this huge venue and there's one bit of branding and it's a big fucking stand-up cardboard square that's just got all the logos of the sponsor and that's it. Like it's a whole bland room.
Literally.
They haven't touched any of it and then there's one square with all the sponsors on.
What was that when you went to? What was it that you filmed at Gymshark Nationals?
I was actually
At Gymshark
literally what I was
Nationals,
thinking
yeah.
of. I was like, that is at Gymshark Nationals. Gymshark is such a big company and they've like got that venue like sick and then they've put like one sign up.
Yeah, there was clearly no interest from Gymshark to actually be involved.
100%.
It's very much
we
like-
saw. I didn't see. I went to the car. Ben Francis literally was there.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I went to the car and everyone I was with saw and met him.
I didn't know that
And
at all.
I had gone back to the car because I forgot my camera. Classic. And I missed him. But he was in the area and they couldn't just throw a dime at the.
That's fucking wild.
know.
Yeah, there was.
I
no-
don't blame, and I don't blame them, by the way.
Yeah, because there's no intrigue in
Yeah.
being invested in that. Because there was no effort on the other end to
Yeah.
make it a spectacle. It was like, why would you want Gymshark branding on?
Yeah.
Mid.
It's just crazy. Like, there's probably less than 100 people making good money off of powerlifting. Probably. Less
Oh,
than
yeah,
100
literally.
people making a living off of it. And then infinite number of volunteers just falling at people's feet.
Volunteers who all like are unhappy with everyone and every lifter and just mad internally.
Yeah. And that's a job, that is a hard job to be doing all day, by the way. That job looks like it sucks.
It's like the spotters and loaders who just work grafting physically.
And the thing where you've got to pull the lever down
And they get
shit.
like a meal
Yeah.
and some of their fuel covered. And
Yeah.
like, thank you.
I love that. Great, thanks. Oh, a t-shirt. Oh my, for me, a t-shirt.
T-shirts is always the one as well. That like you can get an SPD T-shirt in a colour that no one bought, so you can have the last of the
You can
stock.
get like the dead stock.
Yeah.
I don't
Fucking
know, it's
every
just- Yeah.
time. So the future bit you haven't. I'm now way too comfortable. I'm done.
You still in frame? Hell yeah.
Yeah, stop with the hell yeah, man. So the future, I'm very much undecided.
It is undecided.
But for now, what you got planned for the next 6 months?
There's one thing that I've got planned that I will talk to you about after, and
Oh.
it's really cool. And I will talk to you about it. So there's plans in motion. I just don't want to say what they are because I hate when people say what they are and then they don't happen.
Yeah, this feels like a good way to be accountable. Because then we'll all think you're
No,
an
I
asshole
can't
if you don't do it.
because there's another person involved and I don't think I can speak on them. It was their initial idea. So
So we had something good to talk about, and you were like,
yeah,
I've got
but I
nothing.
just want you guys to know that I got shit going on.
This is like a announcement coming soon.
But yeah, my first venture outside of videography, doing a thing,
Oh, no way.
yeah, will be happening. And I'll be able to talk about it soon. Actually, I'm not even going to talk about it at all on my page. I don't want anyone to see what I'm doing until I can show results.
We'll get you back on the podcast.
Yeah, you're going to be back on the podcast.
You keep, the peeking to one side.
I'm lying. I'm lying. It's just I can come back on the podcast. Just my ticket back.
What would you have wanted to talk about?
What would I have wanted to talk
Yeah,
about?
if you were like, okay, free realm episode, what do you want to discuss?
I don't know, because I like talking about this stuff. This stuff is everything to me. I was so uninteresting. I had nothing of value. I genuinely can't express how much of a fucking useless human being I was at 20 years old.
I
done nothing.
heavily relate.
I'd never done a sport. I had no medals. I couldn't run a mile. There's nothing. I can't do any of that shit now.
What medals do you have now?
When someone's like, "What are you proud of?" I can actually say a bunch of shit. That's
What stuff are you proud of?
I did all this in a time period that I don't think I've seen. Piss off! What is that? Is that me?
It's your phone.
I've what is that? I'm just gonna put it on silent.
Is it interesting?
Nah.
It's a break from his Whoop sponsorship.
It's actually a guy I messaged to be like, "Oh, I was watching the Menendez show and I thought you looked like we got one guy," and now he's just responded to that.
Being like, you think I'm a murderer?
Yeah, you look like that one guy
Or a
that
paedophile.
molested his brother. What was we saying?
What you were proud of?
What I was proud of.
In the same sentence as molesting your
my
brother.
That's one of my big achievements.
Going in the beginning.
That. We have no. That actually needs to be cut out because my parents.
I don't cut this.
No, you have to cut.
I literally don't
Well, at
cut.
least they've seen how badly I want it cut, and now I don't really care. What I'm proud now, I've filmed with bro, I've filmed with the Sidemen. I grew up watching them, and now I've filmed with them. I've grown. There's companies that now make a lot more money because of my involvement. There's a YouTube channel that has 15,000 more subs because of partially my involvement, because of all the thumbnails and the clips
And the editing and
there's
even stuff like the tracer stuff that you could do.
I can just I have a skill. I have one skill.
Okay, so let's say we'll round out for this last bit. I said earlier, okay, we flash forward 10 years and it's you famous. Mm-hmm. Flash forward 5 years, nothing changes, but one thing. What's the one thing you'd want to be different in 5 years for you to be okay with it?
It's got nothing to do with money. It's just the way I'm going to word it. I want to have a part of my part-time job, so a part of income, a bit of job, a bit of my life, be not from videography.
That's it.
Just something else, whether it's managing something or just anything else, any part. I don't want to be 100% a videographer. I want it to be 50-50 split. That's it. You did coaching and then you were business and coaching.
Which at the moment is 3% of my income.
No, yeah, but
But it's having it not be the one thing.
it's not even about, because I shouldn't have worded it about the income. It's not even about the income. It's look at what you've done, bro. Look how many opens you've done now. Look how many, look how many shirts you've sold. Look how many, not shirts you've sold, look how many shirts you've made. You've got all this merch stuff. You have all this branding and people wear it. You've got
Interruption from our sponsor from Dedicated Power.
people are wearing it. People are wearing Whoop. People are drinking Newtonic. Yeah. So just some shit like that. Yeah. And I got really inspired, like when you had that open, when you had the DVD party, and
the anniversary,
and you stood up in a room full of all those people, and there were way more people that probably wish they were there. Like that was sick, and they were all there because you'd done something and you'd like brought that much value to all of those people's lives. Like you have like a big legacy. I want that. I'm jealous.
I think legacy is one of the big things that, until you realise you can build something, never really crosses your mind. Because it's like, I'll just be something at some point, and then it's like, what will I be when I'm not there? Like, what will exist because I was around?
Yeah,
that's
like,
kind of the future.
Like the thing about like energy cannot be created; it can only be like transferred or this, that, and the other. Like spreading your physics, spreading your like positivity, and like like what you said. I literally said to Alex. Oh, I can't say his name. I literally said to beep. That I was like, oh yeah, Callum basically made me, and he was like, yeah, he's like done that for loads of people, and I was like, yeah, hell yeah, like
that's a cool reputation.
Like even if we're only 10 years apart, but like imagine you're gone. Imagine you're gone.
There's a high chance I'll die.
No, there isn't. Imagine you're gone, and like I'm living my life, and like things are going great. Well, they won't be great; 'cause you'll be dead. But I'll have lost a big sword now. Kidding. But like my life will be good, and will continue to be good because you did that. Even if you're not here at some point, you did that, and I'm continuing to live well.
The goal is you do the same thing
for loads of. I want a bunch of Jakes. I want to be a Callum for a bunch of Jakes.
Trust me, you only want one Jake. You want multiple people, but one Jake is loads of Jakes.
One Jake is stress.
Right, done it. I think you smashed it. I'm going to wrap it up there.
Thank you. Shout out to Whoop. Big thank you to Whoop for sponsoring the podcast.
I wonder if we get sued for pretending that Whoop sponsored the podcast.
Stephen got sued for sponsoring, for like pretending.
Oh, the heel stuff.
Yeah. Just try it.
Because he kept faking that he was sponsoring. Right.
I actually had a heel before I got here. I'm not even kidding. Crazy.